Reading is an integral part of childhood. Like physical activity, it exercises the brain throughout the developmental growth years of a child. Reading is often associated with wisdom and intelligence, as it stimulates the brain to increase literacy skills, better vocabulary, improved comprehension, and it helps the desire to read in children. As a child, many have read children's books or have been told stories by older people. It is important to foster a love for reading in children, and many have echoed this sentiment, even popular children's television programs such as Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow was an educational kids' TV show launched in 1983 to promote a fun way of learning. This show was very popular and streamed on 95% of public television stations in 2005. The show's host was LeVar Burton, whose love of reading was inspired by his mother, who used to be an English teacher. He then created his own documentary called The Right to Read.
We're in the information age, and our kids aren't getting access to the information because they can't read.
The main problem most kids face when it comes to reading is the limited access kids have to a variety of books. The location a child lives in will definitely impact their access to multiple good quality books. In a higher income community, there is bound to be more books available to kids. However, in a lower income community, there are less books, causing a struggle in reading and social skills. Reading is a foundational skill needed to develop and grow as a child gets older. Without a strong ability to read, it becomes difficult for kids to learn and transition into their adult lives. Jackson Local Schools is ranked in the top 10% of Ohio's 611 school districts. With a graduation rate of 97.7%, the futures of the students at Jackson are looking bright. This wouldn't be possible without the teachers and their teaching methods, which help the students succeed. One of these teachers is Miss Smith, a school teacher at Sauter Elementary in Jackson Township. She teaches her students all of their needed subjects, one including reading. Miss Smith has a very important hand in the quality of learning her students get in this subject, making her methods of teaching important in order for her students to grow. Miss Smith teaches the second grade at Sauter Elementary School, where she has taught for 16 years. This has given her plenty of experience in the teaching field and opportunities to improve her teaching skills, making her the perfect area of expertise for teaching reading to elementary students.
The access to books at our school is very easily accessible. We have such a wide variety between the Sauter Library and then my own classroom library. I have a ton of books here. We have a storage room full of books that I use in small group. And then, of course, all the books online now. We have Book Flicks and Storyline online, and then we pay for a few programs online, Digital Reader and Epic. So there's just a vast amount of books that the kids can have access to.
Miss Smith suggests that the best way to get kids excited about reading is to include time to read outside of school.
I think just modeling it or reading with them or, doing the things we do at school, like not doing work with a book, but talking about a book or having a favorite book and discussing it with them, I think is good.
Even though Sauter has a wide range of books, most students still prefer technology over reading during downtime.
You know what they usually want to do when we have downtime to have fun is get on their computer. So in here, if they have the choice, I would say maybe a handful, maybe 5 would actually choose to read. I think the biggest challenge definitely is just that the students that come to me are on all different levels.
When living in a higher income community, the biggest problem is not access to books, but the level of reading each student is on, which can make the teacher's job a bit more difficult since every student is not on the same page when it comes to a certain reading level.
First Book is dedicated to ensuring that all children, regardless of their background or zip code, can succeed by removing barriers to education.
So much of the problem stems from the influence of adults in a child's life. Parents who have low literacy rate tend to have a similar impact on their children. When a parent reads to their kid, it helps with their comprehension and awareness, and without it, those skills aren't developed. Scholastic found that children who are in less fortunate families also tend to have poorer scores on standardized tests. Teachers also play an important role in children's education and development, but without teachers who have access to books, it is severely lacking. Research from 2022 found that teachers in low-income areas have less knowledge of non-explicit literature evidence, thus having an impact on children's access to comprehending literacy. Teachers' comprehension has an extreme impact on how the kids specifically are able to learn. One of the biggest problems is with students and their early education. If students in lower socioeconomic backgrounds have less access in their formative years, then as a study from 2001 found that kids below average economic status tended to fall behind on their alphabet, counting, and even writing their own name. This has long-lasting impact throughout their education, especially towards the end of their school career. In 2015, Cambridge researchers found that many 12th grade students who lacked reading materials during the summers outside of school were most likely to be reading at an 8th grade level. Within the list of upper middle class status countries of the world, Peru is one of them. Peru is a country in western South America known for its many worldly wonders such as the Rainbow Mountains, Nazca Lines, and the great historic city of Machu Picchu. The official language of Peru is Spanish, and just like America, it is a vast and diverse country in many ways. Diverse in its biological, cultural, regional, and racial diversity. Within Peru, just like any other country, it has different regions with different levels of wealth and education. We reached out and interviewed a teacher from Peru, more specifically, a current principal of an elementary school in Peru. Maria Inmaculada Hualpa, the person we interviewed, does not speak fluent English, so we interviewed her in Spanish and added English captions to go along with the interview segments.
Vivimos nosotros en la región de Piura, región Piura, en el Perú. Mi escuela se llama número 915, Río Viejo Norte, que queda en Bajo Piura.
Piura is a city in Peru, and it is a fairly populated one with 630,244 people, making it the 7th most populated city in Peru.
Me estás preguntando cuál es el nivel promedio de alfabetización de lectura de un niño peruano, ¿no? Listo. El promedio de alfabetización de un niño peruano varía de acuerdo a la edad, ¿ya? Pero según la evaluación, en las escuelas dictan 3 programas. Uno es el plan lector. Otro es el Plan Nacional de Lectura. Y un tercero que se llama la lectura por placer. ¿Ya? Entonces, 3 programas. Estos programas van a ayudar al alumno a fomentar la lectura, a mejorar su comprensión lectora y a desarrollar el hábito de leer. Esos programas son los que nosotros existen en las escuelas.
These programs within the school are important for strengthening long-term life skills, especially skills that can be stemmed from reading at a young age. By prioritizing reading at the younger levels of learning, children are more likely to develop even stronger life skills like cognitive and comprehension skills that can help build on empathy and understanding what is told to them at the given time. Many throughout life have benefited majorly from these programs within schools, and most likely without the aid of said programs, life might have been less understood or even difficult for those lacking aid. If kids can make the most out of these reading programs, they can also make the most out of life by an extent.
The biggest problem for students during their education and childhood is how their perception of reading and writing impacts their mental health. A study from the National Library of Medicine found that a lack of access leads directly to a negative association between books, making them view them as a privilege. Education then takes a blow because of the lack of positive association with the reading that is required to follow what is the traditional sense of intelligence. Lack of access can lead to students feeling as though they are failing in academics and have negative associations with reading books. This can then lead to lacking self-confidence and poor mental health that makes them not as inclined to learn and read. With this continuation of poor connotations, they don't want to learn to read because they don't have any positive ideas of why reading can be great for them.